Stop that. Oh, that's a hell of a way to transition into the game. And we're back. So, you are finding a lot of maybe not necessarily unexpected, maybe not necessarily undesired, but lots of attention. And as, like, people seem to kind of come up and try to, like, get a little dance time in with Brianna, how's Brianna taken to this?
She is open to dancing with other people.
All right.
Whoever comes up to her, she's like, sure, come
on. So many of them will like jump in, and it's kind of like that string of, you know, one guy starts dancing with you and he's getting into that, and then like the next guy's like, no, I want time in here. Go ahead and give me a perform check with 2 additional D4 rolls. Plus 2 D4s. They're not rolling. I don't know what's happening. And you're muted. Too many of the things at once. /R space 2d4. There you go. All right.
It was taking a long time. It was like rolling the dice, and it just took, I don't know.
No problem. So yeah, you are bringing quite a bit of attention to yourself there. Like, a number of people are kind of stopping and looking over, and they're like, does she do this, like, professionally? And some people are, like, kind of giving you a little bit of space and just watching you kind of, like, get down to this. And even some of the people that were, like, coming up to dance with you are kind of, like, taking steps back, like, I don't know if I can keep up. And you've just kind of lost yourself in this. That is until someone makes their way up to you. And they kind of move very gracefully. And they look up to you, and you notice that she is a familiar face. You notice that she maybe made something for you recently. So you fancy yourself a good dancer too?
I try.
I couldn't help it after watching you out here, trying to see if I could keep up.
You're doing a great job.
I don't know. You seem like you've got this under a lot of control, but I think you could step it up a notch. Don't you?
I can try.
All right, give me another perform check. Ooh, and you start dancing, and she starts trying to match you, but you notice that, like, she's kind of, there's kind of like a back and forth attempt at one person trying to lead and one person trying to kind of, like, you know, follow and then re-grab the lead as they make a motion that seems more like in beat with the with what is happening. And so you you make your moves, and you seem to be, like, out in front of her, like, you're following more in the beat, and she makes a few, like, slip-ups, and people are kind of, like, excited, but also kind of more of the eyes are focused on you. And she's like, oh, I guess age has not been kind to me, but I think I might have something that will surprise you.
Well, let's see it.
And I'm going to need to know if a... Oh my god. Does a 7 beat your CMD?
CMB?
Your CMD.
D. 7 does not.
Okay, so, like, you're dancing, and she makes this maneuver with her leg, and you immediately, like, just kind of hop over top of her leg and make it look like it was an intended part of the, an intended part of your dance. And she's like, oh, very clever. Very clever. But we're not done yet. Ooh, does a 25 beat your CMD?
Yes.
Give me a perform dance. You, like, she comes in and she, like, moves in such a way that she, like, bumps into you. And you, like, you make it a little bit overly dramatic and you do, like, a little slide number with it to the side. And then you, like, kind of come back in and just keep the moves going. And she kind of sighs and takes a step back and, like, gives a small bow to you as she fades back into the crowd. Everybody kind of cheers. And yeah, the night is kind of yours to decide what you want to do with it. You can keep dancing. There's plenty of people that would be happy to give you a friendly night together. There are as many drinks as you want through this evening. It is, right now, for this evening, the world is your oyster. Or at least this club is.
I guess what she would probably do is she would, after that, maybe take a little break from the dance floor and go over to the bar and maybe, you know, see who she runs into.
There are, as you come over, you take a seat, and, like, the bartender, like, looks over at you and, like, starts putting a bunch of drinks in front of you. I guess you have your pick tonight, don't you?
It seems that way. Would you like one?
I wish I could, but I'm on there's a bit of a limit that we're allowed. And I get a few myself on the regulars. But thanks for the offer. But take what you will, or have them all, or spread them around, whatever you wish to do with them. People keep these coming. You got a good look to you and a good feel to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, you do this for a living somewhere?
Well, normally I perform, you know, just vocals. I am not really a dancing performer, but, you know, I guess when you know how to make music, then the beat, you know, it comes a little bit natural to dance as well.
I think you've got some talent there, and I think if you really put your mind to it, you could probably go places. You know, there's a lot of performers that have made it to the capital and done very, very well. Perhaps you might even have a shot.
Oh, well, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Oh, quite welcome. I should warn you of one person, though, that you might want to be a little careful of that frequents this place. He'll drop a lot of money on you if you like a lot of money, but his expectations are quite high. And he doesn't really take well to being denied once you let him kind of pour his affection on you. Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you for the heads up.
You're welcome. It's always important that people know about them. If you ever end up with a drink given to you by a gentleman by the name of Orazio, it is in your best interest to politely decline and give him the little goodbye wave. But if you want to see what happens, I've known a number of girls who've made quite a fool of him in some ways.
Well, I will definitely steer clear.
Probably for the best. While you're here, is there any information you'd like to get from him?
Goodness. I don't think so. Not right now. She's more focused on not even thinking about work, or anything like that. You know, she's just focused on sort of the present moment. She's a little bit, you know, sad about Baru because of, you know, him being her friend, and so she's kind of trying to get her mind off of the events of the past few days.
Okay. Will she probably stay till, like, the club closes, or...?
Unless she meets someone that she fancies and decides to leave with them, basically.
Okay. Well, there are a number of people here that she could run into, although this isn't one of the more upscale clubs, so I don't really know, like, what would Elizabeth, or I'm sorry, what would Brianna be looking for to come along this evening?
Just someone that's sort of fun, maybe a little carefree, a little bit, doesn't have to be wealthy, doesn't have to be anything like that, just maybe someone cute that likes to have fun.
Unfortunately, tonight is not your night for that kind of person. A lot of people here are either here to dance or looking to score more so than anything else. So you get a lot of people that come over, but they're definitely giving off either that kind of desperate vibe or like they have one goal in mind, and that's just whatever it takes to get you out of this place and somewhere else. Not so many of them looking to have fun and give you kind of the entertainment in it.
In that case, then she'll probably just stay till close and then make her way back.
Okay. Does she head home or does she head anywhere else?
She would probably head home.
Okay. All right. So let's kind of tone down this music. And let's... So the remaining few days will pass. And is there anything in particular people wanted to do in addition during this time, just to make sure I'm not skipping over anything? Oh, actually, I do remember. So, Gulran, you were heading over to meet with, to try to meet with Vangelis.
If I can, yes.
Yes. It's a little bit rough, but eventually, actually, he will like allow you an audience with him. It takes you, like you come in on the first day, and then the second day, you're able to kind of get something scheduled for then. But he will actually meet with you in the temple. So their temple's set up a lot differently than yours, whereas yours has like pews and an altar and like people who talk. This is set up almost like you're walking into kind of an arena. And there are places where you can go to commune with the clerics, but there is a lot of fighting going on all throughout the place. There's sparring, there's some like wrestling, there is a bit of like back and forth, like arguing between people about theology. But you'll kind of, you know where to go. You kind of head through the temple and over to this small like chair that is off to one side. There's a group of people all kind of crowded around the chair, and he's like talking to a few people as you come in close, and as he sees you, he like offers, "If you'll excuse me for a moment, everyone, I have an appointment to speak with someone." And he'll get up and he'll head over to you. Gulran it is, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, excellent. You're from the Temple of Shishat, yes?
Yes, I don't know if you remember, we spoke briefly at the coronation of some knights earlier.
I do indeed. You're friends with, what's her name? Elizabeth, yes?
That's right.
Yes, she, one of the few from the temple that managed to make it into the knights. Normally they're very careful about, who with divine power they allow to become knights. It's very, very good to see them working a little bit more progressively. I think better ends will come of this, most certainly.
Indeed. I requested to speak with you in regards to our last conversation. Is there somewhere we may speak more privately?
Sure. Come with me. I'll bring you back to my private room. He'll lead you back into like a small dormitory. And he's got a desk inside, and behind the desk there's like a small bed area, and he'll take a seat behind the desk and offer you one of the seats in front of it.
Yes, thank you. May the blessings of Shishat and Anhur be on us today.
Indeed. They are always, aren't they?
Of course, but some days it feels Like we're more on our own than others, of course.
Yes, well, they can't do all the heavy lifting for us now, can they?
Exactly. This is why I come to you, actually. Our last conversation about you said you were going to look into this Fey disturbance some more. Have you done so? Have you learned anything?
So, how do I put this? We heard you were doing it.
Well, who did you hear that from?
Just like you can't talk too much about what you know, I can't talk too much about what I know to some degree.
Glenn kind of like nod knowingly.
The woods are much more dangerous, though. That is for sure.
Yes, I had first-hand experience with their treachery. Well, I guess if you're leaving it to us, as it were, I was wondering if you had any... I guess that matter can be put to rest that I came here to speak of, but I don't know if you were aware of, Duran searches is, Morin. Do you know Morin?
I know
The
Morin.
Church of Shashat?
Morin,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely. He's a good man, and I do miss the days when he and I used to talk a little bit more, but as of late, our responsibilities have kind of led us in different directions.
Again, is on her goddess? Wait, it's a goddess, right?
God.
Is it god? Oh, god. On her is god of. Is there divinity in that? You seem to be on track of where I'm going with a lot of this conversation. Morin has let me know. I guess my travels have left me astray to the ongoings of the politics of the city, but apparently the faiths are at odds with one another. Or you know
Yes,
what's going on?
It is a sad time, and I believe that Morin still attributes much of this to Thoth, but there's a lot of things that Morin is missing about this. And I believe it has less to do with Thoth and more to do with the political structure. Unfortunately, as of late, many of the followers of Shashat have been pushing for a greater state of unraveling of the legal system. And well, I agree that the legal system might need some change. Unraveling is a bit extreme, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I'm not aware of these. What are they? Are they clerics pushing for this? I'm not aware.
Certainly.
Of this.
Shashat believes in freedom and the belief in choice and the right to make decisions on your own, not to have the law make the decisions for you, that your own personal knowledge will lead you to make a better decision than the control of others will lead you to the correct decision.
Gulran is attempting to pull up his character sheet. Where did this go? I'm going to roll a knowledge religion. I'm going to confirm, is this actually Shashat's literal beliefs, or is he interpreting this?
Go for it. Yeah, that's still enough to know. So yeah, this is kind of the general idea. So you'll find that followers of Shashat believe more in not necessarily an anarchical society, but a society where people are given the right to education and understanding, and that you don't need the government to necessarily come in and force restrictions on people, because if you give people the knowledge and understanding of things, they'll come to the right decision on their own. They don't need to have these other things in place. Law is important, but Shashat also teaches that sometimes the law can get in the way of you gaining greater knowledge.
Well, I have first-hand experience with the law coming in, preventing a full how I would like to conduct myself to get the truth of the matters. I don't believe all of Shashat's followers fall in line with unraveling the whole system. Perhaps some changes here and there in the more progressive side of things, but perhaps these are more extremist Shashat followers and shouldn't be lumped in with all of us.
Ultimately, it all leads the same way, and sometimes this is where I wonder why the two of them got together in the first place. Listen, I don't want to get into a theological discussion with you right now, is ultimately I feel like it often goes the same way, but we are working towards the same purpose. And that purpose is still the safety and the right of our followers to continue to follow us.
Of course. There should be no... I guess it doesn't hurt to reveal this to you. My main purpose in joining with the ministry, instead of becoming a full-fledged cleric, I vowed to try to reunite everyone under more open circumstances instead of this competition of withholding knowledge and everyone kind of working in their own means. And when Morin told me of this competition of gaining more followers, or which god has more followers than the other, this upset me greatly. And I was hoping you could shed some light on how, maybe hoping at least on her and Shashat followers can come to an understanding, and we can reach out to the others and try to nip this in the butt, as it were.
In the early,
it becomes something we can't control.
In the early time, there was a place for that. But more and more, Shashat's followers seem to slip and change.
What do you mean?
They become more anarchistic. They believe that, while they still do many of the right actions, they believe that our paths are incorrect.
I don't know if I do not have ranks in knowledge history. But yeah, I guess what would be my knowledge of it? Like, is this true? Like,
there wouldn't be a lot of knowledge for you because you've basically been raised by the church. Some information has been shared with you, but I think overall Gulran's not a particularly intellect-heavy person, so I think information retention's probably not as much there. Gulran's kind of gotten by on understanding the way that people work and not necessarily how big systems work.
Well, I'll take you at your word, but I haven't heard these things myself. But, I mean, as a follower of Shashat myself, I don't feel the need for such a push. I believe with gradual changes, we can push towards a more open and free society, but I don't think causing a complete unrest will do any good and cause any open sharing of information if that were to go to chaos or anything like that.
I respect what you want, Gulran. I certainly do, and I would love to work more with Morin and the others to find more acquiescence between the gods. But that doesn't feel like where we are right now, and I believe it will take greater change to get there. If these are the things you speak of, the desiring, then I would work towards becoming a light, much as I have become for those who are on her, an example to show people what the gods can do beneficially and what the value of working together can do. You yourself work right alongside one of ours. If the two of you can prove the value of teamwork between each other, then I am most certain that you can set an example for others to follow. And if I'm not mistaken, from what I've heard, one of yours is a bit... Look, you know he sells drugs, right?
Who?
I don't know his name. I've just heard rumors.
Well, the only other party members is Brianna. She's a female, first of all, and Antaeus. He's very knowledgeable on the law. I can't imagine he would break it. But
it's not breaking the law to offer drugs. If people are taking them of their own volition, though there are people that do use them for more nefarious purposes, sometimes to take a lady home when she's not necessarily willing.
Well, that sounds quite terrible, but I don't think Antaeus would be involved in anything like that.
Perhaps. But it's always hard to say with those types. I find that best to keep the system clean.
I agree. I'll keep a sharper eye on him, but I have faith in my party members.
Well, see, this is where I think you need to also set an example. As much as I'm not a fan of doing drugs personally, if you can show that you can work with the people that are more out there and wild, your little dancing friend or singing friend, I think it is. She stays at an inn, right?
Yeah, she's been known to sing quite the tune.
If you can work alongside the follower of the righteous, and if you can work alongside those who would poison the minds of others, then I'm sure you can prove that, like, what is important is making the right decisions and doing what's best for all of humankind. Correct. And that is an example that is of great value to everyone in your goal.
I see. Very wise words. We should be the change we want to see in this world.
Precisely.
Well, I will take my leave, but as
before you do that,
mm-hmm.
know that what is down there, what is in the forests, there is something that I have that might be of benefit to you. And he opens up a drawer in his desk, and he pulls out a hunk of what looks like one of the vines from in there.
Where did you get that? That looks like the vines that nearly choked the life out of us.
We've had a few of ours that followed after some people that claim they were lured there to go get their family members. We didn't have much luck getting their family members back. But this is what we ran into. I don't suppose any of you brought a sample of your own. You probably didn't think it worth bringing back.
Well, in so many words, I'm not really sure what is public knowledge at this point, but...
Don't worry about that. I'm giving this to you as my gift to bring back to them. Have them look into this. If it is what I think it is, there will be much work to be done.
Do you want to be associated with this? Should I tell them you gave it to me, or do you wish to be...
I am giving this to you anonymously. How I came into it is not to be spoken of. In time, it will be best that I come forward with what I need to. But for now, it is best that you simply present it to them and let them know it comes from a reliable source.
That sounds fair. Gulran will, I don't know if he has gloves, but he'll try not to touch it with his hands and just put it in his bag.
Mm-hmm. He'll actually, the Vangelis will kind of wrap it for you, and then hand it over to you so that it doesn't leak on anything or anything like that.
Thank you, Vangelis. You've been more help in restoring hope than I could have imagined. I just wanted to, before I leave, I'm still not putting this faith at odds, the faith's at odds at rest yet. Can I count on your support if I'm able to get the other leaders of the faiths together to talk about this at perhaps a summit? Can I count on your support if I garner the rest?
Of course. Just remember, Gulran, the voices, the softer voices do not necessarily carry the greater will of the people. Speak firmly, speak with knowledge, and speak with the voice of others behind you, or you are speaking with nothing.
I agree. These are wise words. I want to do. I don't know if I would know this. Is there a customary greeting of on her, of thanks or something,
No, not really.
Okay.
No.
May on her bless the rest of your day and your time. I will take this knowledge you've parted with me and put it to good use. Thank you.
May you travel safely.
We'll nod and take the package and head to, or carry on his duties until it's time to meet with.
Okay.
Yeah, Ninos.
So the next day, you guys will meet with Ninoslav back at the ministry office.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me see something real quick. We're gonna meet up before we go in there.
I don't know.
Yeah, I assume we're all like collected before we walk into like wherever we have to go.
Oh, actually, damn it, never mind. Because this would require us to do something that may not be a good idea to do in front of. It's not anything that bad. It's just like a bonus to like perception and diplomacy checks. But if we do that in front of him, might not go over so well.
Everyone, you look well. Brianna, it looks like you've partied hard. You ready to get some work done today?
Of course. What do you mean partied? I'm well rested.
I see the bags.
Oh, you paused out there. I see the bags under.
Well, I don't know how long ago that was. I'm assuming like I don't know if she was up all night or if that was a few days ago. Maybe I can't tell at all.
She was up all night to get lucky.
I assume I was up till the wee hours of the morning, but I don't know how much time has passed between.
There was a day in between, but I don't necessarily think your sleep cycles would have balanced out, so you might seem a little bit lagged. But give me a fortitude save. Actually, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, you look like you're still in good states, but you have that kind of look on your face, like somebody who just didn't quite get enough sleep.
I'm probably looking for the coffee.
Yeah.
Anyways, before we speak to Ninoslav, listen up. I spoke with Vangelis. I can't say his name.
Vangelis.
And he bestowed upon me a sample of the vines that attacked us. But he wishes to remain anonymous, but I'm sharing this with you because I trust you all, so please do not relay this information to anyone else, but I want us to all be on the same page. And he will reveal this eventually when it is pertinent to the conversation, but I don't think it's necessary for everyone to know this now.
Well, I mean, honestly, who's to say that a little bit of vine didn't like latch itself onto us and we found it after our stint in jail or something?
There's no need to lie, Brianna. Well, I'm just told that we were given this from an anonymous source.
Well, that works out because I have no idea who that is.
Excellent. He also told me some fascinating things about you, Antaeus. We'll discuss it later.
Yes.
But I just find it. Never mind. Yeah. So we all have. Our goals are clear. We want to know what happened to Baru, and we have this sample to discuss with Nino. And what Elizabeth, when you spoke with him, we want to discuss that as well. Let's not forget.
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay. So you all head in. Ninoslav has the usual room for you all to come in and meet with him. And he has like a bunch of papers sprawled across the table in front of him as you come in. Good. You're all here on time.
We have a lot to discuss.
Indeed we do. Good morning to you. Please have a seat. I have some unfortunate news. Baru was released yesterday, back into the wilds.
Goron slams the desk.
I felt the same as well. I don't want to... Look, I have to be strict on some things, and I have to be upfront about some things, but I also need you guys to understand I'm not your father, and I'm not trying to be. But there are orders in place to how things must be done. You have to make sure you can prove that something is keeping him there.
What do you mean? The bloody forest was keeping him there. We saw it with our own eyes. Why weren't we contacted for our testimonies?
And yet, when he left saying that you were taking him to see his wife. And according to him, one of you even implied that his wife was back in town.
I mean, I was literally trying to stop him from attacking us.
Well, you did that. But then he ended up manacled. and following the directions of the manacles.
Oh, the manacles that we were given specifically to use it for him?
I was afraid that one of you was going to do this, so let's get real here. I informed all of you to gather information from him, and if he got hostile, to leave.
Which we did.
We were told if he was a danger to himself, he was clearly.
He was a danger to himself. Please describe how he endangered
through
himself.
Open flames to approach us.
And did he seem harmed by it? I saw no burn marks on him when he returned to town.
Because he was taken by the forest. Once this effect wears off, I feel the effects would harm him.
Do you realize how this sounds? You are making up excuses after being given more questions, and you are using the questions to answer your excuses.
Nino,
Might I ask a question?
Please.
Sure.
Yes, Antaeus.
You believe in the Fey Madness, correct?
Of course.
So would you not say that leaving him there, knowing that he is under the control of it, would not be a danger to himself?
Or anyone that happened to cross him in the forest.
Not to be on Nino's side completely, but we could not prove he was under the influence of it, to be fair.
Yes, this is the fundamental problem. The Fey Madness is not easily discernible. I believe, if I've done my homework correctly, one of you at least has the ability to indicate properly when these maladies occur, correct? And he looks to you, Gul'ran.
Yes, I employed the magics of Shashat to reveal his affliction. However, I believe my connection with Shashat is not at its peak, and I was not able to garner the correct amount of information to conclude.
One of you is even sensitive to these matters, is that correct? And he looks to you, Elizabeth.
Yep.
But you've realized historically, haven't you, Elizabeth, that people don't quite understand the problems that you face. And some people don't understand the places we come from. And he looks back to you, Gul'ran.
Yes.
And that these things have an impact on us. These are things that our doctrines do not cover. And it is my job to make sure that anything I am bringing before the Councilate is infallible.
Speaking of which, Gul'ran will take the package out and plop it on the table. What's more infallible than the source itself?
He'll get up and he'll come over and he'll pick it up off the table and start to unroll it over by where he was sitting.
Careful, don't touch it. It's the vines we had come in contact with in the forest that animated, and this is a sample of it given to me by an anonymous, trustful source. We were unable to gather it ourselves.
Sorry. Yeah, I'll start letting him know what I know about it as far as like what it'll do when it touches it and everything.
Okay. Well, you're well researched on Blight, and this will give me what I need within the Ministry to take the next steps. This is the evidence that I needed. Even without Baru, this is enough to help us move forward. I have to work in steps here. Ministry first. The Ministry gives me approval to look into these things. Once I have their approval, and once we found enough definitive evidence, we can take the next step. This is good evidence. This will help us significantly.
How many days has it been since we were brought back?
3.
Okay. And you said that they already released Baru back into the wilderness?
Yes. He was not a prisoner. Not rightfully, anyway.
Well, hopefully if we can learn anything from... By the way, how is this being looked into? Do we have access to the research that this provides?
When we conduct the research, it certainly will.
Excellent.
This is the proof we need that this may not only be Fane activity, but based on the growth here, this may be a recurrence of a blight we thought we'd cured some time ago. You see, part of the problem we have is that sometimes the problems get solved before they can get written into record.
If you need any assistance in researching it, I'd be more than happy to lend my services.
That would be of great use to us, actually.
It would benefit me more to know about how these things work as well, especially if presumably we're going to encounter them further along our journeys.
Give me either a bluff or a diplomacy. Your choice. Because you're not necessarily lying, but there is some falseness to it. He pulls out a knife and, like, cuts a piece of it off. And he wraps it and he tears off a piece of the cloth and, like, wraps it up and tosses it to you. Here, why don't you see what research, and he winks at you, you can gather from it.
I would be remiss if I said that it wouldn't help me in my personal endeavors as well.
I bet. But sometimes you can't just look in the normal ways for the answers that you need.
Antaeus, hand that over to me now.
No. It's his.
I am not going to allow him to use his side activities. I found out what that was recently to use this item in. You could cause a pandemic.
I thought we all knew about this. Are you really just now coming to realize this?
I like to see the best in people.
Also, I have no ill intent in this, if that's what you two are assuming.
I don't think your intent is malicious, but you may create a concoction that is not for consumption.
In a way that would be better for us.
What?
Imagine, if you will, that we have live samples of somebody experiencing the side effects of what this thing can do in its rawest potency.
Nino, I don't think you know what you're saying. We can't openly subject people to this madness.
Do you think we haven't before?
You better not have, Nino. This is not kosher.
Yes, I'm the one with the morals that are in question at the moment, though.
I don't even know what to think of this. Are you saying the ministry has openly given people diseases?
Not given them diseases. But let's say, for example, that there are willing people that want to be in a different place or feel like they're in a different place. And you have a concoction that can allow them to do that, but you don't implicitly know the side effects. If they agree to test it, and you agree to be as open as possible, who is in the wrong?
Also, it would be beneficial as far as, like, if this were to be something that were in contact with more people to know how it affects them.
Yes.
As long as you're saying that everything was honest and open and there was no hiding of the side effects. If this was open knowledge, then I'm sure this sounds a lot more.
What's not hidden is that we don't implicitly know the side effects. People are willing to take chances on their own, and why stop them from having the right to take these chances? As a follower of Seshat, as one who lends themselves so closely to the mistress, I am surprised that you would impede the mistress, the followers of the mistress on this.
Mistress? What are you talking about?
You not familiar with the mistress? She is relatively young. It'll start to kind of coalesce in your mind. The mistress is a goddess all about new experiences. And what better way to have new experiences than to try a new drug?
Oh, sure. But initially when I was hasty in my judgment, it just sounded like it was that knowledge was being kept from these people trying these things. And as long as you're telling me that everyone was aware of what you were aware of and you weren't holding anything back from them, then I guess I can't really judge that. Then.
Not at all. We make sure that whoever we put it out to is going to be clear with those that they share it with. Isn't that right, Antaeus?
Of course.
So, this is an impressive find. And I know exactly what needs to be done with it otherwise. And part of why I'm making that offer to you, Antaeus, is because I expect now I don't have to worry about the rest of it when I send you where I'm going to be sending you with this.
I'm sorry, Nino, I must object again. This is not sitting well with me. Do you not recall? Were you an employee? Maha was there when they had a wizard look into the mind of someone stricken by this disease, and he lost his mind as well. What's to say if this is not subjected to the people that it spreads and people are losing their minds completely? I can't agree to this.
There is a limited quantity of what he has. It's not going to grow. It doesn't have the capacity to grow. It's inert. It's dead. It is separated from its host.
You understand this thing with exact knowledge?
Anything that I know about it, I'll cooperate with on. I'll assure him of it.
So you could only know as much as what other circumstances of this have been from the knowledge that you had before. That once it is severed, it doesn't. Its potency still exists in some form, but it cannot be regrown from just pieces of itself. It needs to either put down roots or it needs to seed.
And I'm assuming these don't have any seeds on them then?
No seeds. This is just a raw stalk.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and mention that to Gulron to kind of ease him on it a little bit.
That's all well and good, but perhaps there's something we don't even know about this thing. What if it's someone ingests it and it takes root and you weren't there, Nino? The roots, they came alive and they grabbed us. It almost took hold of my mind. And Elizabeth as well. We can't... This isn't something to toy with.
Let me put it to you this way, Gulron. Would you rather I hand it to him and he does what he will and we're able to track who it goes to? Or that in the night, while you're traveling, he carves himself off a piece and he gives it to whoever will pay him the highest amount of money, and then we have no record of where it went and who it affected, and we have an outbreak of people contracting a much more powerful madness than we might know what to do with? Which of these scenarios seems the better to you? We can't...
That's making a lot of assumptions.
It is.
Theus would never do option number 2. He's a ministry man, first and foremost.
If I did anything like that, I would never leave them without... I would never let them do that without monitoring their symptoms and monitoring what happens.
Yes, but not necessarily sharing it with us.
This sounds way too dangerous.
That is true.
The only way I could agree to this is if the people subjected to it were in isolation and kept under strict surveillance. We can't just give it to people in the public and they go around and could infect other people. We have no idea what the...
Gulron, it's not a disease.
Are you so sure?
We have encountered this before. Were you not paying attention? This is not the first occurrence of the blight.
Gulron, I think the time for fighting is over. He is our boss. We do what he says.
No, he's welcome to lose his job if he'd like to continue.
The job is meaningless if lives are at stake. Shashat would disown me.
Sometimes to solve a greater problem, you have to make a few mistakes along the way. Sometimes in war, some must fall to save the rest.
The ends never justify the means.
The ends always justify the means. Otherwise, civilization would crumble.
It's best if it's
I love this lawful versus good.
Aware of what's going on with it.
I agree.
I appreciate and I agree with your morality on the situation, Gulron, but I do believe that the greater good would be to know the weaknesses of it and be able to eliminate it best we can before it becomes a bigger issue. especially if it is a transferable between people and we are unaware of it, and then somebody goes into the woods and then comes back into the city and then does transfer to other people. Not that it seems like that's not like how it would work, but somebody could go out there and then grab it and then give it to people and then so on and so forth.
I want to be completely involved in this process. I want to know who's being it given to, and I want to monitor them and preserve their life if I can.
Excellent, then you and Antaeus can work together on this project. Congratulations, Antaeus, you have a partner.
Excellent.
I hope he serves you well. And Antaeus, you'll be the boss on this project.
Oh, wonderful, a cohort.
Oh, hold on a minute. We should be equal partners in this endeavor.
One of you has to make the final decisions, and I believe that Antaeus will be able to make the better decision on behalf of what the law is interested in.
This is true. He is more knowledgeable in the laws, but...
Very good, then it's decided. So, let's get on to the next phase of what needs to be done. Any more outbursts about this, and you can have your outbursts at home, leaving your badge at the door. Is that understood?
Also, it benefits us to have this information as well, because not only would we be providing it with them, but we would be able to have the information about what it does and how to deal with it, even if necessarily the most lawful channels aren't going to do anything about it per se.
Of course. But I'm going to ask that you not do anything with this until you get more information from where I am sending you next. Is that clear?
You haven't mentioned where you were sending us next, did you?
I've been trying to get there, but someone's moralities keep getting in the way.
Yes, Antaeus, quiet down. Let the man speak, finally.
Now, you're going to be heading to the capital. It is very important that the four of you speak with an important gentleman over there who works in the department of... what was it called?
The Department of...
Hold on.
That can't be a real department. You know, now you're just jossing us.
I am uniquely qualified for this department.
Rihanna, enough.
The Department of...
to say three hail shots when you get home.
The Department of Archaeology.
Department of Archaeology. Goron will write this down.
They will be able to better identify how deep this infection goes from what you have there, assuming we can get it there in time. Unfortunately, the city is protected from teleportation, and it is too dangerous to teleport you too close for fear we might get you in the wrong place. Our people with access to greater levels of teleportation often don't travel the roads much, and so aren't as familiar with the road area, and you could end up being pushed a little too far, end up in the filter, and get thrown to the other side of the city and be caught up in the woods. There are roads, though, that should take you there safely, and we will be providing you with an efficient cart transport to get you there. We'll also be making sure that you're well compensated for this journey, and will be capable of protecting yourself should you run into problems on the road. Banditry is still a problem on the roads. Guards are regularly patrolling, but that seems not to stop people who spend a little bit of time off the roads. Many bandit camps exist not far outside of the roads, especially as you start getting towards the mountains. Keep your eyes open, keep yourselves safe, and watch for giants. They're kind of the worst. We've been trying to bring them into better society for some time, but they're stubborn old fools that will probably end up one day a dead species. do what you can. If you need to take them down, take them down. If you can avoid it, try to do so. But they are quick, and they are very efficient at ruining your cart.
Is there a particular alignment that they tend towards?
It is
In
variable.
case you were to encounter them.
Not many have stopped to check. I assume they're probably more on the malcontent side.
What is our contact's name in the capital?
I don't know who they're going to assign to this project. Simply let them know that I have sent you there, and they will inform you as to whom you'll be working with.
And when do we leave?
As soon as you can. I would prefer if you, due to the nature of this, it is important that you get there within 7 days, so you could probably manage a couple of days here before you head out. But stay not for too long. The sooner the better.
Okay. I just need to pick up something from I'm having crafted that'll probably help me with this.
Excellent.
You mentioned some sort of compensation. Is this after the job's done, or?
No, it is now. He will slide a writ over to each of you. This will hopefully help you acquire a few more things.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
1,000?
No, I will let you know off stream.
Okay.
Because I think this is where we're going to break for tonight. Any questions or anything that you want to ask him before we wrap up?
I think that covers it for me.
Nothing comes to mind.
Nino, this cart, it is, are we just giving a driver, or what is accompanying us?
I sometimes forget that the records say you're not regularly from around here.
No.
The cart is steerable. You simply,
so one of us can...
You simply need to move the runes and they will make you go.
Oh, it's not led by horses, or?
It is, but they're not your typical horses.
Interesting. Well, this is all exciting.
Anything else?
That's it for me. Thank you for your patience, Nino, and our morality debate.
Good luck to you
Right.
all out there. I know it's a difficult journey, but I think you'll find that in some ways this will feel like work, but once you get there, it will feel like a much-needed vacation.
I actually had a quick question. If we are to resolve this and prove this Fey blight, whatever it is taking hold, will we have legal recourse to locate Baru, scry on him, and find him and bring him back finally?
Not quite yet. We will have legal resource to send a party in to get more information. If we can acquire enough information, then we can take steps to bring back Baru again. And if successful, he may give us the key we need to proving that the blight is there and to figuring out how to eliminate it.
Hopefully he is not completely lost by the time we get all this done.
In all honesty, if he is lost more to the blight, that may be of greater benefit to us in the end. I hate to hope that your friend has succumbed to the madness, but the faster he does, the faster we may get a solution.
Well, I wasn't really close with him anyway. He's more of a coworker. It's all right.
Jeez, Goron. Harsh.
For the sake of clarity, I also did not know him very well. I met him the first time in the woods.
That was a great first meeting.
It was memorable.
Let me have all of you go ahead and take 500 XP for this session.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm gonna we'll go ahead and close up the stream. So.
Oh, before you close the stream, I
Yes.
think multiple of us need to roll hit points.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point.
Pretty sure I rolled mine last time.
Excellent.
Nice
roll.
I thought only Jess rolled hers last time because then we let her know, like, oh, hey, next time wait for stream. So I
No,
don't
I think John rolled his literally at the end of the stream.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
so.
okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, and then Jess was like leveling up after stream.
Yes.
And then she, yeah.
Gotcha.
And that's when I made the clarification.
Yeah, I just didn't realize John had rolled his before stream ended.
No problem. All right, guys. We will catch you tomorrow for Conscripted.
Are you
and
sure? Because I don't see it.
If not, we'll find it and we'll get it figured out. All right. Good night, everyone.